To always get the latest Game Tea, do not forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Game Tea Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Game Tea Podcast X. We post memes, gaming news, retweet friends of the pod, and of course let you know when new episodes are available for your listening pleasure. Links are all available in the description of this episode, so check them out after the show, and thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. My name is JP.
I'm Peaches.
I'm Zach, maybe? Yeah.
And I'm Czar.
What is it with the questions? Why do you guys sound like you just had amnesia and now don't remember who you are?
Well, because every time I show up, someone else is gone. And then I was like, wait, JP's here. Peaches is here. Shit, who am I?
Well, see, my question mark comes from, I don't know where I'm supposed to go because JP was gone. And so sometimes I went first, and then sometimes I went second, and now Zach is here on top of it. And so I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know where my line is.
You're at the top of the totem pole, baby.
By the way, that reminds me, thank you guys so much for letting me go on that vacation. I mean, let is in quotation marks there, obviously. What I meant to say is thanks for not burning down the podcast while I was away.
I really tried.
Well, I already told you on Twitter that that's the only vacation you get for 5 years.
Yeah, about that. I'm going to be gone for 10 days in May, or in June, so we'll talk about that later. Let's just talk about that later, though.
You better bring a laptop.
To Jamaica?
Yep.
Yeah, they got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he's got Wi-Fi.
Moving on.
I am totally not messing with settings as we're recording. That would be very unprofessional.
Yes. Whatever.
Yeah, it would be. Zach?
All right,
What? That's my name?
So I'm going to do itinerary today since I haven't had the chance to do it. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
All right, so today on the podcast, we are talking about no end in sight for the PlayStation 5 shortage. We are talking about more studios coming from former Blizzard employees. And we're talking, is gaming more impactful on youth culture than music? And we're going to finish that up with, of course, some quick takes and game releases. That sounds like a pretty solid episode, boys. Where are we getting started?
Looks like we're starting off with you and Sony, JP.
Yeah, you're still talking.
Oh, I get to talk about Sony.
I mean, it's not really that good.
You didn't read ahead.
Last week when I was listening to the news episode and
He
Czar had to
wasted
say...
the good articles on you.
And Czar had to say Sony gets Discord. You should have heard how hard I was laughing. I was so... I was like... Oh... And what's funny is when you guys were recording without me, I felt my head perk up for a second, like somebody just said Sony, and I'm like, whatever. That's
My
nothing.
ears are burning.
All right. This first article is entitled, Sony now expecting PlayStation 5 shortages to continue into next year, coming to us from Liam Wiseman of IGN.com. So thank you very much, Liam. All right. It was never going to be easy, launching a new console in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, and Bloomberg now reports that Sony has spoken to a group of analysts about the supply constraint issues affecting PlayStation 5 supplies, reportedly warning that shortages will continue into 2022. And in other news, the sky is fucking blue. Yeah, come on, come on! Did anybody really expect that the PlayStation 5 shortage was just gonna end anytime soon?
Okay, I want to know why they say that it's hard to launch a console in the midst of a pandemic, because one, no, it's fucking not, because people are going to buy that shit up like hotcakes. And two,
yes.
When has there ever been a console release where there hasn't been a shortage? I've always had to wait at least a year to get the new console, unless I really sought after one.
That was a really solid point, and I even had theories as to why that was. If we read a little bit more into the article, I think we're going to get a couple more answers. So we've got a quotation here from Hiroki Todoki. Wow, what a name. I don't think demand is calming down this year, and even if we secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, our supply wouldn't be able to catch up with demand. So obviously, Czar alluded to this already. When consoles release, it's not surprising that there's a shortage, okay? It's the brand new console and everybody wants to get its hands on it. Wants to get their hands on it, I should say. And plus, we've already talked about like a million times how the pandemic has affected the sale of these consoles. But like, we're getting close to the end of COVID. And I know that's actually really crazy to hear, but pandemic season is really close to being over. So, I mean, I guess that raises the question, like, do you think that like the hype of the PlayStation 5 is surpassing like COVID necessity time? What do you think about that, Czar?
Well, it's no longer necessity time. Like, we well overshot the end of days here. Pretty much everybody is getting vaccinated, and, you know, forlorn shout out to our friends in Canada who are not currently getting the vaccine, but like, life is moving on as we know it. So saying that it is a pandemic necessity is no longer a thing. I think it is surpassing the hype, but I don't think the two are necessarily related, like, at all.
Fair enough. Peaches, Zach, either of you have a take?
I want to impulsively buy a PlayStation 5.
Zach!
But
No, you want to impulsively buy an Xbox, you bastard.
Now, see, what's also funny is I can't find any of them.
Fair.
And every time I check Facebook Marketplace, there's always some dillweed selling multiple for like $800. I just want to message them some very naughty words. And I think that scalpers are making this the worst, like, of all time. Like, I'm sure Wii's were bad. Like, there were similar circumstances, but like, I feel like everyone thinks they can scalp now. And so it's just gross right now.
And
guys.
it all comes back to the scalpers.
Fuck them kids.
Ugh.
So, Zach,
Can't have
this
Pokemon
actually...
cards in Target anymore?
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's ridiculous what's going on there. Zach, what's interesting about you is you actually represent like this weird middle ground of people who wouldn't normally think about getting a PlayStation, period, and now you kind of want one. So, like, if it's not about the pandemic, like, what exactly is enticing to you about the PlayStation?
I haven't had one in a while.
Yes.
Fair enough.
No,
Like, I would not play any of their games. I would probably go and get Jack and Daxter for the 14th time, play that, and be like, okay, back to my Nintendo.
you can do that
Like,
on a
I'd buy-
PlayStation 4. Hell, you can do that on a PlayStation 3.
I'd buy Ratchet and Clank. I'd buy Spooderman.
Of course.
I'd maybe buy God of War.
Cool.
And that's probably about it.
What's great is you don't even have to buy half of those games, because if you get PlayStation Online, half of those are free.
Yeah, but that's assuming he gets PlayStation Online.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Zach, how come you didn't say Last of Us? Oh, because I can watch it on YouTube and be just fine. Thank you.
I mean, you're not entirely
Sony-
wrong.
It's just a glorified DVD company. Next question.
And yet you want one of those overglorified DVD players.
It's got Blu-ray, JP.
So does Xbox.
I use YouTube and Wait, who's Xbox? Who let him in here?
And then Peaches, finally, what about you? What's your take on this?
Well, I disagree strongly with what Czar said at the beginning. So let's just get that started right off the bat.
Okay.
Which part? You're gonna have to specify.
So when Czar said it's hard launching a console in the middle of a worldwide pandemic,
He
I would say
disagreed.
that it is.
Oh.
I say that it is hard. Czar said that it is not hard.
Okay,
So
interesting.
I think Czar's point was more, it is easy to make sales in a worldwide pandemic,
Yeah, basically.
but launching a console in a worldwide pandemic, I would say, is extremely hard. And like they talk about it here, where like there's shortages of. They specifically mentioned in the article semiconductors that the PS5 uses. There are shortages in that because of the pandemic and stuff like that, and that hurt the PS5's production cycle, which also made it harder to launch. And with everybody being at home and not in like offices where they were previously and having to adjust, I think that also makes launching a console much more difficult. But that aside, I also have a take on why Zach wants a PS5.
Oh boy, this should be good.
It's because he wants what he can't have, right?
That's it. I know it. I'm the worst. I am literally consumerism.
I mean, that might be so true. I remember when I was Black Friday shopping with Zach like 3 years ago, and he just on a whim picked up an Xbox One and returned it the next day.
Well, listen, okay, I turned it on and I was like, ew. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't know what you mean.
well, like everything was all convoluted and like it was gross, and I was like, okay, I'll adjust to it. And then like the next day I woke up and I was like, this is gross.
It's the most user-friendly.
How?
How?
PlayStations make sense though. You go left to right, I think. This is like
I've
I remember the
never
PSP.
thought that though. Like, I think
Zach
theirs
is not a fan of the Z-axis. Zach hates the
What?
Z-axis.
I like the Z-axis.
Okay, then I
Zach
guess.
starts with a Z, okay, bro?
Okay, then I guess it's the Y-axis. You hate the Y-axis.
I just hate the Xbox axis.
Ooh.
It's personal then.
It's
All right, so the point I was trying to make with like bringing Zach's example into this is like originally we were like, okay, the reason why all these consoles and even the Switch, right? Because it's like, okay, it makes sense now that PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox, it makes sense that those are so hard to get. But we mixed it in with like being a part of just pandemic culture when we were like, oh, look, this Nintendo Switch, which has been out by, for 4 to 5 years already, is also flying off the shelves like crazy. So we kind of just mixed it in. But like now that we're kind of seeing the end of the tunnel with this whole COVID thing, it's interesting to see that, that has not necessarily stopped the hype train on these consoles. It's good to see that it kind of transcends the pandemic culture that we've all found ourselves in. And I don't know, boys, like I have a feeling that if they play their cards right, I don't think it's going to outsell the PS2. I don't think anything's ever going to outsell the PS2, but it's probably going to break 100 mil pretty easily.
It'll probably outsell the PS4, which is a landmark on its own,
Right. I totally agree.
Did you guys
with
already
that.
talk about how it is currently on pace to outsell the PS4?
Yeah, they actually mentioned that down here later in the article. Sony has previously been...
JP, read faster, damn it.
I'm sorry. Sony has previously been vocal in suggesting it wants to surpass the second-year sales of the PS4, which totaled 14.8 million units. So essentially, like, they haven't given the full landmark of, like, if a console's lifespan is, like, about 9 years, like, how many they actually want to sell here. Obviously, the answer is as many as possible. But 15 million units within 2 years is pretty insane, considering that's over Wii U, boys.
Over the Wii U.
What?
Hey, the Wii U sold
sorry,
13 million. So it's way over the Wii U.
All right, Zach, so that's enough with PlayStation. What is going on in Blizzard news?
Well, I'm glad you asked. More people are leaving and making their own company. Next question.
Who could have predicted this?
All right, so this next article is coming to us from prnewswire.com by Lightforge Games. And so, yeah, it's Lightforge Games, guys. That's what they're creating. Former Epic and Blizzard veterans. And those veterans and peeps are, who is this? Matt Shimbari, who is a CEO. They're looking to combine elements from Minecraft or Roblox with tabletop RPGs to form a new way to play role-playing games. Given our backgrounds, making a game that looks to revolutionize RPGs was an obvious choice. And so, I don't know about you guys, that sounds like a pretty tall order right there. What do you guys think?
I don't play Blizzard games.
Okay, but you don't have to play Blizzard games because
It's going to be like Roblox and Minecraft.
this article...
I
This
don't
article-
play Roblox or Minecraft. I used to play Minecraft.
This article is like ultra deja vu, though, for you, Czar, because we literally talk about something like this happening with Blizzard every other goddamn week.
Speaking
true.
of, I'll read
We
that
also
part that
talk
JP's
about
getting
console
to.
shortages, too. This whole episode's kind of deja vu-y.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you don't remember one more time, I swear to God, I'll change input devices again.
Oh, no.
Okay, Lightforge recently raised $5 million with investments from Galaxy Interactive, NetEase Games, Dreamhaven, Mavron, One Up Ventures, and angel investors from the gaming and tech industries. And just so you know, Dreamhaven CEO Mike oh my God, I forgot to say his name. Mike Morihime? Wow, really? I don't know if I'm a Blizzard fan anymore because I can't say his name.
Lols.
But basically, the other Blizzard developers are like, hey, wait, this guy worked with me. He's pretty chill.
I mean, yeah, essentially.
that's
the
it?
thing is,
That's it. Yeah.
Because Dreamhaven, you may remember, is one of the companies that spawned out of former Blizzard employees.
And War Chief Gaming. And who were the other? Chaz didn't even have to Google search them. They're just they keep popping up every new day. It's like, how many babies are made off of Blizzard here?
Apparently, a lot.
7.
7.
That's where it'll end. Just those 7.
And Jeff Kaplan. Which one did Jeff Kaplan go to? We talked about him last week,
That was
right?
the one
Oh,
that he
man.
went to a couple weeks ago. He's the one that started it. I don't even remember the name of the studio anymore.
It happens too much to remember all of them anymore.
Jeff Kaplan just retired yet. He hasn't gone to one yet. So just expect
Yeah, that's
that.
what I thought.
Yeah, and Reggie Fils-Aimé retired before he went to GameStop. Retirement is not the
Yeah,
end.
well, then Reggie Fils-Aimé quit GameStop. Is he technically retired now?
Until he decides he gets bored and wants to help the next big company out. There's no way Reggie didn't take credit for that whole, GameStop stock happening.
I still haven't seen any credit given to him. It's old news now.
I'm just waiting for Jeff Kaplan to make his own company and just call it, "Hi, my name is Jeff from the Overwatch team."
And it's like, all right, here's $10 million. Just do us a new project.
Hear me out. Overwatch, but good.
Whoa.
But good.
I can't even imagine.
But gooder. There we go.
Overwatch is good. Okay, but that's not the point. So we've seen this happen so many times now. What can we say about what's happening here that hasn't already been said, Zach? I mean, it's just, this happens so frequently, so perpetually. And Blizzard is still just hanging there with their dick in their hands going, why is everyone leaving? And, the devs are like, maybe you could treat us better and we could work on better games. And Blizzard's like,
What's
no,
that?
no,
You
that's
want
not the solution.
microtransactions? Okay.
Microtransaction. Yeah, exactly. Precisely.
Sold.
So when do
Hey,
you... Oh, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so, fuck. I try to remember what you guys were talking about earlier, but, so, Peaches, I think, out of all of us, you could be the most excited, even though I know you don't like Blizzard that much. But, it's a tabletop RPG with, that creativity from Minecraft or Roblox. That could be pretty cool. I'm thinking, a Dungeons and Dragons, but, I don't know, more creative,
good.
which is,
Whoa, whoa,
that's the
whoa.
one thing that is... Every time they make a Dungeons and Dragons game, it's never as free as the actual people who play Dungeons and Dragons want it to be. You know what I mean?
There's some games that kind of replicate the Dungeons and Dragons experience without having to force you to get so in depth as Dungeons and Dragons would usually require. There's games like Gloomhaven or the 7 versions of Dungeons and Dragons that exist. But
Yeah, but it just
is
doesn't
that kind of the
compare.
vibe you're getting from that quote? I guess what I'm trying to say. Not that it's not there, but you think that's what they're trying to go for, or what are you thinking?
So they mentioned that they want to do tabletop stuff, but then they also talk about how they want to revolutionize RPGs in general. And so I'm assuming that they're going to start with a board game, but taking
That's the easiest place to start.
Yeah.
taking inspiration from Minecraft or Roblox seems like a weird place to go for a tabletop RPG. So I honestly don't know what to expect from this.
All right, so basically Blizzard is hopefully going to explode someday, and with it we'll have new companies that actually have souls.
Zach, what do you
have
think?
you seen the games that these guys have worked on? Did you see the bottom of this article? These guys worked on Fortnite, World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Hearthstone, the StarCraft 2 trilogy. What? There's a trilogy for just StarCraft 2?
Yeah, you know that. There's the shit. Fuck.
All right,
There's
so
the
apparently
Brood
the
one,
second
the
game-
Protoss one, and the human one. I don't know.
The second game in the StarCraft universe has its own trilogy. Good to know. Overwatch and Elder Scrolls Online. That's a lot of big games.
Zach, when do you think Blizzard is going to learn their lesson and actually start changing some of their behavior so that their employees don't keep leaving?
They're not.
Simple answer.
It's
They're
just
not.
it makes me furious to see Blizzard doing the same shit over and over and over and over again and not facing any sort of repercussion. Obviously it's okay, well, their big names and their biggest pieces of talent are leaving, but it doesn't seem to bother them that much is the thing. And it's just I'm personally in the spot where I like Overwatch, but other than that, I don't give two shits about Blizzard. But what I do care about is good devs being in the industry and creating good practices that other companies have a precedent to follow. And Blizzard's not doing that for me.
And they're doing just fine, because didn't we talk about them, I don't know if it was a week ago or like the time before that I was on, but like their stock's still going up pretty fine.
Yeah,
Or not
absolutely
stock,
it
but
is.
their
Yeah,
earnings.
they're losing, but they're making money.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just people just keep talking with their wallets and like they're fine. Their CEO just made some fat money. It's fine. It's fine.
All
They
right,
laid off
fair
200
enough.
people. It's fine.
Fair enough, I suppose. I don't really have anything else to say about this guy.
So is there anything else you want to add?
I'm curious to see what tabletop game comes from this, but honestly, I want to see what not tabletop game. I don't know. Video game comes from this is what I'd like to see. Just because
Right.
I really like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Well, I mean, general gaming podcast. You know, I
I've
enjoy
seen some board game
here and there.
podcasts. They're
We
pretty good.
haven't really talked much about board games. That'd be an interesting episode, definitely, to try and pursue that, because I do love a good tabletop or board game.
Whoa. We don't want to step on anyone's turf.
Oh, whatever. What are they gonna do? Take away our advertising?
Not our advertising.
Yes, because that is a thing
Or lack thereof.
that we have
I've talked
lots
about
of.
card games.
Isn't that essentially the same thing as a board game?
It is on top of a table.
Moving on.
Do you guys want to talk about the next article? I feel like Czar hasn't had to read in a while. Czar, read. Damn it.
All right, well, everyone knows that I'm an emo kid, and so basically talking about inspiration for an entire culture. Video games have replaced music as the most important aspect of youth culture by
Wow.
Sean Mohanan. And this is coming to us from The Guardian. So thanks, Sean. So yeah, this is basically what it sounds like. Kids these days, when you ask them a question about PewDiePie, 90% of them know it. If you ask them about a football player, they're not going to know it. It's kind of weird how that kind of stuff has shifted, and like the latest musicians and artists, none of these Gen Zs know about them, according to this article. And if it comes to video games and like watching video games on YouTube or Twitch or any of those platforms, that is where their celebrities come from. And so we are seeing a direct shift in, that paradigm of from the stage to the desk chair.
Well, I mean, there's a few things like that back up what you're saying. So, I want to talk about the specific stats, just so people don't think we're pulling this out of our ass.
That's always going to be credible, as we've learned.
So, directly from the article, they talk so Morning Consult, with a consumer intelligence firm, said that PewDiePie has more name recognition and higher favorability than LeBron James among Gen Z American men. And then the gaming industry, with $139 billion a year, has outstripped the NFL, the NBA, MLB, and NHL combined. And the gaming industry is set to take in $180 billion for 2020, which is a 20% increase for quick maths. Thank you, The Guardian, for the quick maths.
Quick math.
So scared of math.
And then you see other things like these big superstars like Lil Nas X and Travis
Can I read
Scott.
this quote? Please, can I read this quote?
Go for it.
All right. The most fetishized products of 2020 were gaming platforms such as the Nintendo Switch in the spring, the PlayStation 5 in the fall, and it wasn't the usual suspects lining up to score these consoles. It was with the bars and the clubs closed, even actors and legendary party girl herself, Lindsay Lohan, was excited to pose
Lindsay
next to her
Lohan.
comped PS5.
You guys remember when Lindsay Lohan was in The Parent Trap and she played twins? That was great.
So
That was honestly a good movie.
it was a good movie.
And
Anyways,
let's remember that, Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, so I have a lot of conflicting feelings about this article, because if it weren't my two biggest passions for hobbies are video games and music. I'm a musician, I'm a member of a band, I've been playing music for almost as long as I've been playing video games. There was a weird time when gaming really started to hit the mainstream where they weren't like, pop culture in itself was not necessarily like distancing itself from video games, right? Like you would see like celebrities and athletes and motherfuckers never played video games would advertise these consoles, right? It's like watching famous skinny people drink a Coca-Cola. Like, you never drink Coca-Cola, shut up.
That bottle's filled with water.
But now we're at this point where gaming has overtaken that. What I don't like about this article is that the author almost seems to insinuate that, one, this is a new trend that's happening, and two, it's COVID that pushed it over the edge. He said specifically, like, through this, like, I'm reading straight out of the article, Coachella wasn't happening, but Animal Crossing was open for business. Politicians eager to rock the vote look to video games to reach young voters. I mean, I want to be clear. This is not a new trend. Video games have been overtaking every other industry for quite some time now. And it's kind of gotten to the point where, like, the other industries don't really want to play as nice with it as they used to. They're like, oh shit, these guys just overtook us as the #1 spot.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks that they're blaming COVID because, I mean, on the one hand, they're not wrong. Like, these artists, these bands, and other venues are struggling because, you know, live shows were no longer a thing. But video games were. So on that hand, yes, they are correct. But on the other, video games have been on this warpath for decades.
Yeah,
like,
precisely.
Since the 80s, when Pong came out, like, all of a sudden, the first Atari, every fucking kid in America and, like, Japan, I think.
Shit, you're talking the 1970s, bud. Like, this goes back even further.
even earlier. Even earlier. Yeah, the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
just
so
kinda...
they can't, my point is that they can't blame COVID directly for this because this was already going to happen.
They also have a lot of salt in their voice when they're like, you know, these kids nowadays don't recognize this boy who can throw a ball really far, but they know who PewDiePie is. It's like, yeah, no shit. Fuck this guy who can throw a ball far.
It's that meme of Principal Skinner from The Simpsons. Have I lost touch with today's children? No. It's the children's fault for not paying attention to me.
What's funny is
kids gonna get up my lawn.
What's funny is I didn't hear Zach or Peaches laugh at that joke, and I know it's because they're both big football fans, and they're like, "Hey, now I like boy who throws ball far."
Well, here's the thing.
And
they're both equally. They both are equally important. If you want to just if we want to just be straight about it, like, they're equally important to different groups of people. All I'm saying is, like, PewDiePie isn't, like, greater than, like, LeBron James, just like LeBron James isn't greater than PewDiePie. I mean, LeBron James probably makes more money than PewDiePie. That doesn't really matter.
Who has
like,
more subscribers?
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what media
Everything
you consume.
comes down to subscribers.
Like, who cares? You know, PewDiePie has 100 million subscribers, great. And LeBron James has like 100 million fans, great. At the end of the day, it's just enjoy what you want to enjoy.
Oh yeah, by no means am I saying fuck you sports or whatever. Like, this is all just a part of pop culture. It's just it's so interesting to think about, like, where video games place is within that. How it's transcended just, like, you know, this recreational box you use to play a game every now and again. I mean, they're talking about, like, it was a little cringy when he said politicians eager to rock the vote look to video games to reach young voters. It's like when Hillary Clinton said Pokemon go to the polls. That's the worst thing a politician has ever said. Oh. And I'm including everything Richard Nixon ever did.
Oh, goodness. Now we're bringing Nixon into it?
What about her husband? We don't want to talk about him? We got time for this?
Anyway.
Look, this isn't a political podcast, so let's quick shifts.
What about when Animal Crossing when AOC and maybe it was Biden and Kamala Harris played Animal Crossing for votes? Like, I mean, like, they do that. I mean, it wasn't that cringy. I mean, like, it was just like, yeah, you know, they're not playing the game to play the game.
Right. Well, like AOC and Ilhan Omar
That was I mixed
played Among Us, and honestly, I thought that was really fun. Like I watched that stream for a while, and it was cool. It didn't feel like old people trying to connect with the kids. You know, it just felt like people playing games and also being like, hey, and don't forget to go vote.
Right, and you can
Fair
tell
enough.
authenticity from like different people. Like, who's just using it as a platform versus who's just playing it, the games.
Yeah, well, like AOC plays League of Legends.
I mean, she's young.
Today I
Hell,
learned.
she's not much older than we are.
Yeah, she's silver, so I'm higher ranked than her, but
Scrub. Fucking scrub.
1v1 me.
You won't.
Okay, so
You won't.
bottom line, video games have replaced music as the most important aspect of youth culture. And in other news, leaves fall from the trees when it's fall.
I think one thing that was really funny, like this year, is this article specifically talks about how the pandemic has predominantly like shown people how prominent video games are in culture, and when the pandemic first started, everyone was, or before the pandemic even started, everyone was like, "Oh, esports aren't real sports." Pandemic hits, esports are the only sports.
The esports competition in itself is an incredibly interesting conversation that can be had. The culture of esports is so unbelievably fascinating to me, but nothing makes me more giddy than when I see old guys that just don't get it and start bitching about esports. I love it. I love it.
And as a consumer of Rocket League esports and League of Legends esports, they're fun. Like, it's the same as watching a football game to me,
No, it honestly is.
That's what I've never understood is like why they don't. I don't understand how they don't get it. It's like, well, I like watching, guys throw a ball and run around and kick things and do this, that, and the other thing. But watching someone play video games just doesn't make sense to me. There's no difference.
Yeah, no,
There's no difference
It's the same.
at all.
Some people just see it differently, They can't make that transition from the virtual world to the real world and vice versa.
And there's just that big cultural stigma.
If it's not actual people doing actual things, then it's not worth anything. And
Oh yeah, then explain
obviously
NASCAR.
that's not our mindset, but that is a mindset out there.
Explain NASCAR to me.
They're making a left turn.
JP, I couldn't explain NASCAR if I tried, and I'm not going to pretend to have any sort of knowledge on NASCAR.
I mean,
I see the value of getting wasted in the middle of the afternoon, but that's about it. Not a car fan.
I think what's cool is like it's just a cultural like significance. Like it took a while for everyone to like football, and some people still don't like football, and like it's fine. Like I mean, like you said, just like it's the validation that people want from it. Like if you like football, like you're more validated for some reason, and like in certain parts of the country. And so I think it's just kind of like it depends on where you're at and who you're with. Like I mean, at the end of the day, like you just gotta like what you like, and
Dude,
not a lot of
there
people tell you what to like.
There are like high schools that have esport teams now. And that's
Call it, yeah.
crazy to me.
Really? Man, I wish I would have gone to high school when that was a thing.
Zach, the validation.
I would have been varsity in a sport.
I thought you were varsity golf.
Well, I mean, that's already debatable as a sport.
Yeah, that's
No,
fair.
it's a sport. What are you talking about? It's a sport.
It is. It is, but I mean, I can drink during that sport, so
That makes it a great sport.
you decide.
I would love to see people get drunk during a football game. Just to watch how it progressively goes to shit.
I was going to say, I mean, you can, but not for long.
I mean, a lot of football players already hopped up on pain meds, so
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then you're just doping.
Zach brings up a really interesting point with the validation theory, though. That's why YouTube channels like React work so well, is because people watch those videos because they love the validation of, oh, this person loves the thing that I also love, and that means the thing that I love is good. That's why things like that work. That's why watching these YouTubers is so addicting, And that's why but at the same token, that's why sharing music that you've discovered is addicting, That's why watching sports is addicting. That it's all really one and the same, But for some reason, like, I just feel like amongst all of this, video games has gotten the most resistance against like people who just kind of want to delegitimize it. And because we've talked about so many different times where that's been true, you know, where people like don't take how powerful video games are into account in the overall conversation of pop culture. And it, you know, even seeing this article, there's still going to be people that just disregard it. You know, it's like, it's all about the music and the athletes.
Yeah, just different mindsets.
And that is, I am burning my soapbox down. That's it. And like I said, I say that as a huge fan of music.
Well, music basically defined a majority of my adolescence, and so I can understand where this is coming from. Video games also dominated a large portion of that adolescence as well. But, you know, everyone around me was more into music, and I guess seeing that change from music to video games is kind of cool.
Hey,
I'm here for it.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
When I was a young boy, my father.
Is that
No.
City?
No!
Exactly. Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial.
Cut to commercial. Damn it, Zach. Trying to get us sued.
It's 30 seconds. I did fine. Thank you.
Plus, I think song
The 30 seconds thing isn't a real rule.
Yes, that's like saying all the students can leave if the teacher is 10 minutes late.
Yeah, you're legally allowed to leave.
It's not a thing.
I thought about pulling out that rule while GP was gone.
In college, you can just get up and walk out. The professor won't care. Like, whenever you
Yeah,
want.
but in college, you can get up and walk out and the professor won't care either because it's college. It's your money at that point.
All right, so we kind of went off on a tangent here. Who wants to move on to quick takes? Peaches, you're kind of quick takes guy now.
I am quick takes guy, but I just want to close with music and like video games have like a nice little intersection, like you were talking about, GP. And like it's not like music is going away as a part of youth culture.
Music is in video games.
Precisely. They all complement each other, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So, anyways, check out the new Van Weezer album. Let's move on to quick takes.
You can't do that. We don't work for whoever that is.
I'm sharing what I love with you guys.
If we're not getting paid,
the point
it's
of a
perfectly
podcast?
fine. Yeah, we like this product.
All right,
Fair
boys, quick takes time.
All right, quick takes. Let's do it.
I love this
All
first
right.
one.
Wait, Zach, you want the first one?
No, I want you to. I decided.
Okay. All right, so Sega is considering Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio reboots, and working on a quote-unquote super game.
What does that mean,
Now-
super game?
I don't
It's
know.
a Sonic game.
But
Super Sonic!
I assume they're like when they say super game, they mean like a game that is going to like revolutionize the industry, like Skyrim, you know, or like what Cyberpunk was supposed to be.
Right.
But mainly, I could care less about the super game part of that. I am super excited for Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio reboots.
Crazy
Me
Taxi,
too.
mainly.
Crazy Taxi, yeah.
I never played it.
Oh, it's so fun.
They made one for the Switch recently.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, but I never did pick it up.
Jet Set Radio was like a skating game before I was super into like Tony Hawk, except instead of a skateboard, you have rollerblades, and it made rollerblades cool. All right.
Right.
I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking of rollerblades, and you're thinking they're dumb. All right, and they're not.
That is literally exactly what I was thinking.
I was going to say, rollerblades have never been cool.
Rollerblades were never cool.
Jet Set Radio made rollerblades cool, and you will never take that away from me.
Or you can pick people up and take them to places where they want to go with Crazy Taxi.
Yes, that is also good. I really enjoy that too.
And hit lots of stuff.
Yeah. What's really funny though is you can tell that they're doing their best to like, yes, Sonic will be there, but we've got other stuff, guys.
Please
Like-
recognize the other things.
Yeah, no, because Sonic's
When is
buried.
Sonic 2 coming to theaters?
You can tell because they buried Sonic in there. Like, Sonic is obviously their biggest IP, but they buried it in with everything else. Examples of active IP: Phantasy Star, Ryu ga Gatuko, Persona, Sonic, Total War. It's like, wait, did you say Sonic?
Sonic?
They like tried to
I
just
really
mix
hope-
it in there.
I really hope they made like a Sonic Adventure 3. I would love that so much.
That would be cool.
Well, at this point, they have to compete with, like, Mario Odyssey. So it's been quite a while since they...
No. They need to do their own Sonic thing and stop
Well,
worrying about
obviously.
Mario.
I do agree with
Well,
Zach.
competing on that level.
No, they just need to do Sonic things. They just gotta go fast.
What
I see what you're trying to say. I just want them not to focus on platforming. So I'm trying. I'm hoping they don't do that.
Yeah, because when it's platforming, it's not very good.
All right, guys. What's the idea board? Gotta go fast.
Gotta go
All right,
fast.
let's make this game. Let us make this game.
But don't make it too fast, because if you make it too fast, then you get a Sonic the Hedgehog 06, and we don't want that.
What did you think about Sonic Heroes?
I liked it.
That was the only time I was like, okay, this is decent platforming.
Yeah. It was good. I just hit up my pen against the thing. I'm so sorry, JP.
You're fine. Did someone say pen?
Pens.
Anyway, no, I like Sonic Heroes. I didn't like having to play as Knuckles and Tails. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't like the Heroes part, I guess. I like the
So
Sonic
you didn't
part.
like the game?
It was... I liked, like, the puzzle solving made it fun, but, like, it was, like, forced puzzle solving. So, like, it never really felt that genuine, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So it got old fast.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
That makes sense.
But I love the soundtrack. Like, Sonic soundtracks are always fire.
Sonic has great soundtracks. Holy shit, you were right.
And then I liked the gameplay was fine, but you could tell they were just throwing shit at the wall, or starting to throw shit at the wall.
Peaches, what do you got for the next quick take?
All right, next quick take is this is going to be the first casualty of Xbox buying ZeniMax, or Microsoft buying ZeniMax. Is Starfield is going to be exclusive to Xbox and PC, and this is the first confirmation, I think, of any games that of like the Bethesda that is not going to be not cross-platform, but multi-platform. So
Yes, I think that's correct. I think this is the first.
yeah, and so honestly, they're pretty exciting for Xbox. They're getting some exclusives, though I still am kind of firm in my belief that, you know, I would like all games to come out for all platforms because, you know, I want everybody to play all the best games. But that's never going to happen. So
Yeah, you know, I really want to be excited about this game because it's Xbox exclusive and it's Bethesda, but I don't know a single thing about it. Like,
space RPG, that's all I need to know.
their teaser is just space. Like, we know it's sci-fi.
We're in the middle of Mass Effect hype.
Well, yeah, but I can only be hyped for so many space games at a time.
Space. I don't
That's
know.
fair. So much space, got to see it all.
Look, I mean, Xbox.
I want to be hyped for fantasy.
In my opinion, Xbox had to start somewhere with the exclusives. I didn't expect the very first thing they were going to have to knock it out of the park with these new studios and acquisitions that they just made. But I see this as the start.
Hold on. Apparently, Bethesda's been making Starfield for over a decade, so this is going to be their next big game. Just because it's not Fallout or, you know, Elder Scrolls doesn't mean that it's not going to be a huge game.
I wasn't insinuating
what
that.
What is a Starfield Czar? This was a great conversation we had before this.
I have no idea. I wish I knew.
Space.
Czar is the king of recommending games he's never played.
Yeah, cat lady.
Nobody has any idea. There is literally
you're
no
confused,
information.
right.
Well, okay, there's not literally no information, but there's like next to no information.
Yeah,
But we know
you're
it's
right.
called Starfield as of now.
Dude, we don't even know if you play as a star or not. We don't know what this game
I'm
could be.
I'm gonna go on Metacritic. I didn't get to play as a star.
This game really makes you feel like a Starfield.
I'm a motherfucking star boy. That's 2 copyright strikes. Let's go for 3.
Let's go for 3. Chaz, next quick take.
All right, Ubisoft is going to start focusing on high-end free-to-play games. Yeah, so you guys may know Ubisoft. You know, just a smaller indie company. A couple of small releases, Rainbow Six, Far Cry games. You know, just really small.
Yeah. Oh, is that
Small
all?
indie titles.
Couple of them.
But, you know, they got Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine. I think they're supposed to set to launch, like, by March of 2022. But after that, they don't really have any games, like AAA title games confirmed. And apparently, it's probably going to be because they're going to start working on all these free-to-play games where they're just going to microtransaction the hell out of you. So everyone look forward to that from Ubisoft.
100% accurate.
Yep, that checks out wholeheartedly. I mean, I think they should just do that solely as a company. Maybe just make a division dedicated to it.
Just to sell people microtransactions. It's
Yerp.
Honestly, it'd probably bring in more money than the games.
But I mean, like, if you're one of those people like me, where you literally hate yourself if you spend any money on a game that you got for free, this is really great news.
Yeah.
Because, like, this just means I'm getting some awesome free games, and, like, well, that's how Fortnite gets you. It's like, well, I spent no money on the game, so, like, I can justify $20 on some skins.
Right.
And maybe if you're super into it, it's like, well, I can justify, 3 months later, I can justify $20 more on some skins.
That's how Pokemon Go sucked me in.
Exactly. Pokemon Go is
Can I
another
just say
huge example of that.
How proud I am of my wife. She said she has yet to spend any money on Pokemon Go.
And she's almost level 40.
Yeah.
How does she get incubators?
Fuck incubators. Don't spend money.
I don't know how she did it. I don't think she does incubators. Just the free ones and like the ones you get like on the special events.
Hey, Chuz.
well.
Let's go
to the last quick take, which is also microtransaction related.
Oh, boy.
You guys may have heard us talk about New World in previous episode, Amazon's MMORPG that they got coming out here soon.
Woo.
They have already announced microtransactions for the game. And, among other than cosmetic stuff that they're releasing, the microtransactions is also going to include you purchasing rested XP and fast travel points.
That is so healthy. I love that.
That's kind of cool.
Zach's sarcasm is pretty thick there.
Pretty thick.
Okay, good. I'm glad, because I didn't want to take the wind out of Zach's sails. I was like, I guess that's kind of cool. Okay, I'm glad he was being sarcastic.
People are real upset about this.
There's nothing better than buying an advantage over other players. I love showing people I'm richer than them and then spitting on them as I go past.
Peasants.
Like,
Oh, that's funny.
whatever happened to RPGs where, you get the fast travel point after you discover the location, and then that's that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's wrong with that? Well, that was a good system. I don't want to buy, I don't want to spend money to buy fast travels. I don't want to spend money.
Are they saying that, like, you can only fast travel if you spend the money?
That's why I'm assuming that.
That's horse shit if that's true.
Yeah, that's some pretty fucked up shit.
That is kind of an assumption there, but I don't know why they would say it if that's not the case.
If you can buy fast travels, that kind of implies that fast travels are a limited resource, and you would have to buy more of them.
Oh, these shady motherfuckers.
Yeah, scummy business practices.
Right, and then also the rested XP thing. What the fuck is up with buying rested XP? Like in World of Warcraft, you get rested XP for like being offline in an inn. That's a good system. Keep it like that.
Yeah, this is just...
and I know I just accidentally praised World of Warcraft.
Fuck World of Warcraft.
You can only sleep well if you have money.
I can answer that question for money.
Ugh, it's so shitty.
Look, I understand microtransactions, and it's like, okay, this gaming company made a pretty solid product, and in exchange, they put in microtransactions that don't affect gameplay, but like are cosmetic for people who are big fans of the game. That is okay. But making an essential game function that has always been the standard in gaming, a microtransaction only feature, is so incredibly fucking scummy, especially one as essential to an RPG as a fast travel system. Like, what? To be fair, like, Zach's right. We don't know for sure that that's what they're implying, but if it is, fuck them.
And the worst part is, like, usually you see microtransactions in free-to-play games. This game is going to be $40. It's already $40.
Yeah, okay. This is pissing me off. Like, who the fuck is you?
Well, they're Amazon. So,
oh, that explains it.
Yep. I forget. So this is going to be for the Luno.
Now, if I get a fast travel every time I buy something off Amazon, I mean, is it that bad? 'Cause, I buy stuff off Amazon pretty often.
Well, like, could you imagine,
that's not a
like,
bad deal.
Just buy some new socks. We are now fast traveling you to Indonesia. You're like, wait, no. We're sending you to Ohio.
You're going to make your own socks. Oh, no.
What, did you just say Ohio?
Yes.
Please, no.
We're sending you
Anywhere
to
but
Ohio.
Ohio.
No,
Not Ohio.
not Ohio. Anything but that. Ohio.
God.
Fuck Ohio.
Look, other than the nightmare, yeah, fuck Ohio. Just
Except for all
generally,
our
right?
listeners from Ohio. Not you. You're cool. But
Yeah, you're a good Ohio.
I mean, look. If they're from Ohio, they're probably like, look, honestly, I understand. I get it. Okay? Like, I'm not here
This
by
place
my
kind of
choice.
sucks.
I get it. We live in a state where we're the same way. It's like, it was our motto. Like, it's not for everybody. So we've got no room to talk.
Our quick takes are turning into whatever the fuck this is. Next thing.
How these quick takes always turn into long takes?
Can I do the game releases?
Yeah, JP, you can do the game releases.
Yeah, do the game releases, JP.
All right, upcoming game releases. On May 20th, we have The Wild at Heart coming to the Xbox Series X/S, Xbox One, and PC. On May 21st, we have Knockout City coming to the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X/S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. We have Miitopia coming to the Nintendo Switch, and we have Rust coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. On May 25th, we have Biomutant coming to the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X/S, Xbox One, and PC. King of Seas is coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Maneater is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster is coming to the PlayStation. You said
none of the words right, but I love you regardless.
Okay, how do you pronounce it?
Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster.
That is what I said. You just put a shitty accent on it.
No, JP, you said it wrong. Zach said it flawlessly.
Fuck you guys. Zach, say it one more time.
No, I'm good. That's it. You only get one.
You only get one. Fine.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. All right. So I noticed that Peaches is putting in for the hype up one upcoming game, Biomutant. So, okay, I don't know shit about this game, so I'll pass it on to Peaches to explain why he's excited, because my pick was going to be for Miitopia, but I guess I'll go fuck myself.
Thank you, JP. My pick was for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster, but I guess I can also go fuck myself.
So, you can also go fuck yourself. Czar, are you excited for this game with me?
Dude, no, I'm all on that Biomutant. It looks adorable, and I kind of want it because it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, and it's kind of like dungeon crawlers, and the main character's a raccoon. Come on now.
The main character is you, and you get to create your own little murderous, cute-ass animal, all right? This game looks incredible. It looks like it's got a lot of fun combat. Cute little murderous animal. What more could you ask for?
It's like build a murder bear.
A story and solid gameplay.
Yeah, it's got that from what I've seen in the trailer so far.
All right,
And
well,
JP,
fair enough.
if you want a story and solid gameplay, why are you talking to me about Miitopia?
Yeah,
because it looks so cute. Because it looks so cute.
Can you make a Ganon me in Biomutant? Didn't think so.
Didn't think so. Thank you, Zach.
Well, there's a cricket on the cute furry shoulder.
Oh, well, fuck, that just changed my mind. Yeah, Biomutant.
so that game's offering that. Biomutant's offering a cricket.
Look, I'm terrified of grasshoppers, and what are crickets except the grasshopper's ugly cousin?
Well, actually, I think this is more of a grasshopper. It's green, and I think crickets are copyrighted.
Fuck it, I hate this game again. I don't fuck with grasshoppers. I hate them.
You really should be scared of praying mantises.
I think praying mantises are cool.
No, they're elegant. We're not the etymology tea podcast, though.
All right. Boys, like I said, thank you so much for taking care of the podcast. Well, that's a little subjective. Thanks for watching the podcast. Thanks for being on the podcast while I was away.
That is factually correct.
That is factually correct. Yeah, it was very nice to feel like I could just step away from the podcast for a little while and take a little break and have you guys take over with everything good. And I know that Travis had a really good time, instead of like this pre-made segment, just bullshitting on the news too. So you guys did a very solid job. So thank you so much.
What are you talking about, JP? This is your last episode. Travis is taking your place. He's actually, we're conforming to the Rainbow Road podcast now.
We're a Rainbow Road podcast.
The Rainbow Tea podcast.
So I can keep Game Tea, right? You guys are just going to Rainbow Road.
No. We still own that license.
No, we're under the Rainbow Road conglomerate.
Since when are you three gay? Two of you are married to women who I've met. I have some questions.
And you will get no answers because we don't owe you anything.
True. All right. So on Saturday, we're just going to do a nice little Let's Talk to kind of warm me back up to being back on this show. So look for that on Saturday. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for listening to another episode of the Game Tea podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
You just got your Game Tea.
Bye.
Later.
If you like what you heard today and you're looking for more ways to get your Game Tea fix, check us out on Patreon. With bronze, silver, and gold tiers starting at $2 a month, there are several incredible rewards you can receive for supporting the show, such as a follow from us on Twitter, access to a monthly Q&A session, an invitation to our private Discord server, and even bonus episodes of the podcast only accessible to patrons. Your donations will be used to make the show even better. The link to Patreon is in the description with our social media, so go check it out. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea podcast.